Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place this. And I'm going to do this. I'm showing you upright so you understand what I'm doing when I do it flat. I'm going to put it in here like so. Okay. And you see, glass is on. You can see right through it, right? So you can see where you have to trace your line. And then I just trace my line with my cutter. You know, my cutter is this thing here. So I put it in here, and then I just go like that. And I trace it. And you'll see it's really not that hard. Okay? Now, the one thing that you're going to hear when I do it is you're going to hear a sound. It's hard to describe. It's kind of like, right? Okay? You have to hear the sound. If you don't hear the sound, you're not scoring the glass. Okay? It's not a big deal. If you don't hear the sound, it's, you're not doing it right in the practice. So I'm gonna put it on here just like I showed you I would. Okay, and then.
Are you doing the curve at the same time?
I'm gonna do one first, and then I'll do the other second. Okay. You could do them. You could score them both at the same time. You know, I guess, but I have to make this last a little while. So. All right, so I'm going to get over here to the edge. Get that sound? What a beautiful sound, huh? Okay, and you probably can't see it, but there's a little scratch in there. Yeah. Ta-da! Oh man, I just did the impossible. Okay. All right, so now I lay it over.
Hey Steve, before you go further,
Sir?
when you score that
Sir?
glass cutter,
Yes, sir?
don't it make a difference which way you break it? That doesn't.
Good question. I've never been asked that before. I've always taken it for granted. You have to break it away from the side you scored. Does that make sense? So if I scored it on this side, I break it that way. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. Because otherwise, see what you've done is on that one side you score, you created a weak spot. Okay? And you're exploiting that weak spot by stretching it against that weak spot. Okay? If you go the other way, you can press that weak spot and you stretch that other side that's still taut. You understand? Does that make sense? Okay? That's how that works. Okay? This one here for safety purposes, I guess. Okay, so now the most complex part of all, the curve. Would you think the curve is harder? It's not. Okay? It's really not. So I'm going to put this up here like that. And I actually, one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm going to find something here to support the edge. You know, you can find anything. I'm just going to use the edge of this razor blade. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want this glass to be on the same plane. One of the trick to cutting glass is to make sure that underneath the glass is supported. If it's not supported in any particular spot and you press down, that's where you'll get a weird break. Okay? So does that make sense? Okay. So I'll put that here. So that, put that there. Okay. So there's that. Go ready for this? Okay, so I'll put that there. I'm just going to follow that curve. Just like that. And
That's amazing.
beautiful. Right? No, it's real intimidating the first time you do it on a curve, you know. But man, after you do one, you're like, let's do this again. You know, and then it just, you can see it fits right in there. Right? See right? Yeah. Ta-da! Fits right in there. Okay. Now, the one cool thing about cut glass is if you've got a little bit of play in how accurate you have to be. Do you have to be accurate? Yeah. Okay. Do you have to be like so accurate that you're anal about it? No. all right? Because one of the things that you have to take into consideration is you've got this shelf here that at the glass sits on. See that? And so when the glass sits on that shelf, that means you've got a little bit of wiggle room. All right. Okay. So if your line's a little curvy, don't beat yourself up. Just install a piece of glass. You know, it's not that big a deal. So.